We're now going to move into bionic sensors. And our judges for this section are Associate Professor Jim Patrick, Dr. Fiona Kerr and Matthew Ames. Welcome to all of you and thank you for your time this morning. Really looking forward to your questions and working with you as we ask the teams. Once they present their 5 minutes, we'll then have 5 to 10 minutes, or at least 10 minutes hopefully, of questions for each of the teams before we move to the next presentation. And so, Elliot, you'll be up first for our second tranche, and I really have sincerely enjoyed each of your presentations and the practices, and really looking forward to hearing more of Heroes. And the subject, for those who don't know, of Elliot's presentation is Heroes Optimises Functional Outcomes of Cochlear Implants. Elliot, how are you feeling?
Very good, thanks, Mark.
Excellent. Are you all ready? You've got your screen sharing ready to roll, and you've got that coming up?
Yep, coming up now.
I think you were with us this morning, but just for anyone who's joined us now that wasn't, we are running the clock on the presentations. We will run the 5 minutes through. Obviously, it's a timed presentation today. You do get 15 seconds grace, but after those 15 seconds, we will drop the curtain, as it were. But so far, I haven't had to do that, and trust that we won't as well. But just so you know, to keep it a level playing field. But judges, I hope you're with us and you're ready to go. And that being the case, Elliot, if you're feeling pumped and ready, take a deep breath, relax, and really looking forward to hearing your presentation again and seeing how that's evolved. So over to you whenever you're ready.
Thank you very much. Ready. Hi everyone, my name's Elliot, and at Heroes we help those with hearing loss to new sound and confidence.
Can you hear my voice now? Yeah. What about Mom's voice?
Can you hear my voice?
Yes.
Imagine the happiness, excitement and freedom of being able to hear sound around you for the first time, like Mary. Being deaf all my life, I've had a very similar experience to Mary when I received my implant in 2013. I'll always remember the time shortly after my implant. I was jogging down the street and I noticed a sound I couldn't identify. It wasn't until I got home later that I realised it was the coins in my pocket. It's an amazing milestone receiving an implant, but it's really only the first part of the journey, because then there's the process of training your brain to interpret and identify what sounds mean. It's like trying to drive a sports car when you don't have a license or you've never driven a car before. This isn't just something that Mary or myself experienced, but also others around the world. In Australia, there's 3.95 million with hearing loss and 360 million globally. The World Health Organization estimates that there's 1.1 billion at risk of losing their hearing. The social and economic cost per year for those with hearing loss is huge. In Australia, which is our beachhead market, it's roughly 41 billion, with the US being 270 billion and 750 billion globally. In many cases, the largest expenditure from these total costs is the value of the loss of well-being, covering factors such as reduced employment and interaction with the community, as well as the quality of life for the individual, such as mental and physical health. In Australia, the value of the loss of well-being is estimated at 21.4 billion, or 51% of that 41 billion. This is an increase of 22% compared to 2017. So what's the problem? Like with all training and rehabilitation, it's very important to understand the progress that you're making. Currently, it's quite challenging for recipients to have access to certain training materials, and when they do, it can be a cumbersome experience, resulting in very limited understanding in their hearing progress. So we had a look at what's currently available, and aside from face-to-face, there's other options like CDs, worksheets, and computer desktop software, which still don't address the problem overall. We provide a structured, cohesive, and engaging experience like no other, as well as incredible insight to help the recipient make the most of their ongoing hearing journey and clinicians to further care for their patient. Furthermore, we can cater for all hearing devices, including cochlear implants and hearing aids, as well as other markets, not just in auditory training, but also auditory memory. The solution we have is a platform and an app called Heroes, which is engaging, portable, and dynamic. It contains over 40 gamified activities focusing on key and specific proven modules in auditory training. This allowed the recipient to train anywhere at any time and focus on challenges tailored for them. It also allowed clinicians to see the patient, helping them save time and build a stronger relationship with them. The current tools we're building is changing people's everyday life for the better, and it's very motivating. We've had some amazing traction over the last 6 months, with activities being played over 40,000 times and daily average session being over 15 minutes. Recently, I received an update from an older lady using Heroes who mentioned her ability to understand speech with an implant went from 0 to 96% in 6 months, which is incredible. Currently, the app itself is free while we test stage 2, which is the demand in the industry. We've seen some amazing responses from for-profit, non-for-profit and allied health, who have all seen strong values in Heroes, as well as the government, who's now a paid customer as we move into stage 3 of our journey. For our business model, we're introducing subscription for individuals, followed by businesses, and then paid per research option. We're also in the process of applying for NDIS to make Heroes even more accessible. We have a very exciting roadmap ahead, which involves focusing on a top-down approach with clinical trials, ongoing calibration with clinics, which allowed further expansion into overseas markets, as well as significantly increasing the accessibility and value for end users. Our budget is divided into these milestones, as well as further strengthening our RP. But we need your help to scale. We're currently seeking funding to execute our market strategy, as well as partnership to join us in this next exciting milestone. Thank you, everyone. My name's Elliot from Heroes, and let's work together to help those like Mary turn hearing loss into a hearing gain and help her make the most of the hearing world around her. Thank you.
Fantastic, Elliot. Thank you so much, and well done. That was extremely compelling and very enjoyable to watch. Now, we might move on to our next presentation, if we may. That's our Bionic Sense of Touch presentation. Our team leader is RJ, but we'll be having that presented by Sevda with Sreya. So, Sevda, just want to throw to you, if that's okay, and just check that you're ready to share your screen and present your project as best you can.
Yes. Can everyone hear me and see me okay?
Hear and see you well. How's your screen sharing looking?
Let's get that going. Screen share. There we go. Is that visible to everyone?
That is, yes.
Okay.
So deep breath, relax, nice and calm. Whenever you're ready, feel free to kick into your presentation.
Yeah, just a moment, sorry. Okay. All right. So, touch is a sense that we take for granted. It keeps us safe and connected to our loved ones. Can you imagine a world without touch? I welcome you to the very reality of a prosthetic user trying to regain independence, mobility, and confidence in their newfound way of living. Prosthetics have come a long way, allowing users to perform simple everyday tasks without assistance. However, there's still a lot of room for improvement. For an upper limb prosthetic user, grabbing a simple object can be very frustrating. They have to position their prosthetic, initialize the correct grip, and continuously monitor each prosthetic to prevent damage. And it sounds exhausting, doesn't it? On top of this, almost 40% of users give up prosthetics altogether due to high costs and lack of necessary dexterity, functionality, and comfort. Numerous surveys have outlined a clear need for sensory feedback to make prosthetic use more intuitive. Therefore, the provision of a tactile feedback system is very important and can alleviate many of the aforementioned issues. Our team proposes the integration of a non-invasive tactile feedback system with the smart and multi-articulating prosthetic hand from Tasca. This integration will enhance the efficiency of completing daily tasks while potentially providing the user with the ability to feel touch. This will be done using a fitted sensory feedback system where the tactile sensor information can be analyzed and relayed to the user as an electric pulse sensation. With these capabilities, the user will not always need to monitor the prosthetic and will experience more intuitive control. Oh, sorry, I forgot to move through the slides. Okay. Up to the next slide. Globally, about 35 million individuals are in need of a prosthetic or orthotic device. This project will fill a clear gap in the $4.5 billion medical device manufacturing market in Australia alone, where prosthetics with integrated tactile feedback are very limited. We believe that through our Australian-New Zealand partnership with the established manufacturer Tasca, we will minimize a lot of the risks faced by newcomers. With projected long-term growth and stable revenue in the industry, we are in a prime position to harness the market with our innovative solution. What we aim to deliver is a complete solution that currently does not exist on the market. Our competitors share many similarities. However, Tasca is the only waterproof prosthetic currently on the market, offering our solution a unique position from the get-go. Whilst tactile feedback studies demonstrate success with other methods, such as targeted reinnervation surgery, they're far from market-ready or are rendered unpopular due to their invasive nature. I'll just pass on to Sreya.
Currently, there are no identified solutions which use optoelectronic tactile sensors for human feedback. Our solution is therefore new and innovative. Furthermore, our sensors can be produced at a fraction of the cost, about $8K, in comparison to other sensors, which cost about $10 to $20K for each module. Not only is our solution non-invasive, but the sensors are modular and can be molded to a variety of shapes while remaining lightweight, water-resistant, and accurate. These points put us at a great competitive advantage. Currently, we are at our prototyping phase of development in our project. We have developed a fully functional optoelectronic tactile sensor and have partnered with Tasca to prototype the tactile feedback system with their prosthetic hand. The $50K funding can then be used to progress in the R&D phase of development. This includes hiring a full-time research assistant and purchasing a Tasca hand. In the next 3 months, we aim to solidify our project plan and evaluate finances required resources for functional prototype. In the next 3 to 12 months, we will prototype the device. Accelerator programs can then be approached for more funding and assistance to reach an MVP stage. From here, beta tests will be released for customer feedback to ensure we deliver the best possible solution for prosthetics with tactile feedback. Tasca is our beachhead market. However, our system can be retrofitted to alternative solutions such as hooks and clamps. It can also be used to develop modular sockets, which change shape to accommodate changes in a user's residual limb, which can take up to 3 years to stabilize in shape post-amputation or among children. This significantly reduces socket change expenses, and it can increase prosthetic comfort. With our strong team, we greatly improve prosthetics today with a sense of touch. Thank you.
That's fantastic, team. Thank you so much for that presentation. If we can now move on to our next group, which is headed up with Viraj. If you'll be, I assume you'll be presenting today. And this project is the Augmented Bionics Non-Invasive Bionic Ear. So Viraj, are you just checking if you've got audio?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep, got you very clearly. If you wanted to commence your screen share as you are, wonderful.
Yeah. At Augmented Bionics, we are developing a non-surgical bionic.
Viraj, I'll let you just give us a moment to get the clock running smooth and settle yourself. Take your time, mate. Nice and relaxed. We don't have lots of time. We've got 5 minutes actually, but over to you when you're ready. Nice and relaxed.
Sure. At Augmented Bionics, we are developing a non-surgical bionic ear. Disabling hearing loss affects over 5% of the global population, and it's estimated that it's going to affect about 900 million people in the next 30 years. Now, there are multiple devices that offer a solution to hearing loss, but we are looking at around a niche of 70 million people whose hearing loss has progressed so much that hearing aids are no longer effective for them. For this group, cochlear implants are the only solution. According to Cochlear's annual reports, less than 5% of them have been able to receive a cochlear implant. Our aim is to bridge this gap and provide a solution to the remaining 95%. We believe that the challenges implants have faced is a requirement of surgery, which brings with it risks, high costs, and specialist requirements, which are significant barriers for patients. Our vision is to address this challenge by developing a bionic ear that can be worn externally like a hearing aid and provides the effectiveness of a cochlear implant for our target market. This would remove the risks of surgery for the patients, allow hearing aid audiologists to retain their patients, and would significantly reduce the reimbursement costs for the payers. We've already validated this idea with Cochlear's business development team, and such a device would significantly grow the already big cochlear implant market. Support of Hear and Say, we've also received strong support of our device in our interviews with patients and clinicians alike. How it works, rather than using implants to stimulate the hearing nerve, our device would use non-invasive transcranial magnetic stimulation, a technology that's already been FDA approved for treatments in depression, migraine, and more. We've seen successful attempts in the past where magnetic stimulation applied near the ear of cochlear implant candidates led them to hear the sounds of clicks and snaps, which are very similar to the experiments done by Volta in the year 1800, which led to the eventual development of cochlear implants. Our efforts have been to design a magnetic stimulator that can focus on different parts of the cochlea selectively in order to target different audio frequencies for the user. Our patent for this focusing technology is now about to reach its national phase and has received a clear international search opinion and freedom to operate. We've also demonstrated the focusing capabilities of our device via benchtop prototype, which shows that we can target at least 4 different parts of a target the size of the human cochlea from a required distance of about 4 centimeters. Our next step is to demonstrate a proof of concept in a deafened guinea pig model, where we'll be collaborating with UNSW and Macquarie University for this research. After that, we'll be conducting increasing stages of clinical testing to generate safety, efficacy, and health economics data. We have a clear regulatory strategy for a Class 2 device, and we are on track to implement a compliant quality management system in the upcoming year. Our target is to position the device at a price point of around $5,000, which would be sold to audiologists and non-surgeon ENTs via specialized distributors. We aim to get this device reimbursed. However, we want to target the device at a price which can be afforded out of pocket. Overall, our estimated is that it would take us about 5 years and around $10 million to become market ready, after which we want to expand the company further. Our technology of stimulating nerves externally can also be used to provide solutions for tinnitus, spinal cord stimulation, deep brain stimulation, and even a bionic eye in the future. Our team has 3 founders with diverse expertise in engineering, business, and biomedical sciences, and we're supported by a solid group of advisors, which includes people with leading experts both on the business and research side. For the past 2 years, we've received significant early stage traction and have completed 3 accelerator programs and have raised around $850,000 over 2 VC-led investment rounds. On top of our current investment, we aim to utilize the Bionics Queensland grant to expand the patent coverage of our device in developing markets and rehire our engineer to help us build a proof of concept prototype.
Thank you so much, Viraj. It's a wonderful presentation and genuinely inspiring technology and research area. And we might move on to our last Bionic Sensors group now. If we can move over to you, Claudio, and get your presentation on SenseLoop, haptic feedback system for spinal cord injury rehabilitation. So how are you feeling this morning? You well?
Yeah, pretty well. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Your audio is very good and your screen has now come up nice and clear. So take your time, relax, kick off whenever you're ready. We're bang on time, so no need to rush. And very much looking forward to your presentation, Claudia. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I'd like to just start with a little intro introduction. I'm really thankful for being here. My name is Claudio, and as you can guess from my accent, I come from Italy. I'm a trained mechatronic engineer, but I moved to Australia to follow my real passion, which is biomechanics. It is during this time that I've met Dinesh. We used to live on the same apartment floor in the same building, and we ended up having lots of conversations in the elevator. Dinesh is my friend, but he also has a spinal cord injury, and that's where my interest in rehabilitation started. I am now a research fellow at Griffith University, where I combine my knowledge of robotics and human biomechanics to develop advanced rehabilitation systems to restore movement in people with spinal cord injury. It is commonly thought that spinal cord injuries are irreversible, but this view is now changing. Advanced rehabilitation techniques have shown that neuroplasticity does extend to the spinal cord, and individuals can recover movement and sensation following a spinal cord injury. The success of these advanced rehabilitation techniques is based on the ability to reconnect the brain with the muscles. This reconnection is not just important for the delivery of signals from the brain to the muscles, but for the delivery of sensory feedback from the muscles back to the brain about the movement that was performed. As part of our research program, we are developing an integrated system that closes the brain-muscle-brain loop to restore movement and sensation in people with spinal cord injury. Our vision is to disrupt the rehabilitation space, but this still requires years of research and validation. However, as part of our roadmap, we have identified a product that is applicable not just to spinal cord injuries, but to multiple neurological conditions, such as stroke. This product is called SenseLoop, and it will allow us to rapidly reach the market and start generating income to support our long-term vision. So let me talk about SenseLoop. You see, neurological conditions are the leading cause of disability in Australia and require intensive rehabilitation to improve function. In the traditional clinical workflow, physiotherapists manually tap or touch muscles to help participants to perform an exercise or facilitate walking. So the contact between the therapist and the participant is essential in the rehabilitation process to provide continuous feedback via touch. However, almost 9 million Australians live in areas that are classified as outer regional, remote, or very remote, with an estimate of more than 16,000 regional stroke survivors in Queensland alone. But from 2015 to 2019, the telehealth market has grown by 44%, and it is expected to grow more, even driven by the current COVID-19 situation. Just as an example, over 250 new items for telehealth were added to the medical benefit list just in 2020. So if we could enable the same clinical workflow that is required during neurological rehabilitation, but remotely during a telerehabilitation session, that would greatly improve telerehabilitation. So this is where SenseLoop comes into play. SenseLoop is a small haptic device that can be easily attached to the skin of a participant or integrated into wearable garments. In a telerehab settings, the therapist can remotely trigger appropriate vibration to one or multiple areas of the body, reproducing the natural and normal workflow that would occur in the clinic, but without the need of a direct touch. You can see in action a very early prototype of SenseLoop. Our team member and physiotherapist Daniel is using SenseLoop and a tablet to generate appropriate haptic stimulation, as well as providing verbal instruction to the participant to facilitate walking. We expect to invest the prize money in marketing and consultancy work for the electronics and the design component of SenseLoop, and to launch a startup dedicated to its commercialization. Griffith University is supportive of the creation of spin-off companies and has agreed to assign the IPs to inventors. SenseLoop will ship with a set of software APIs to enable its integration with any third-party device or software, enabling real-time haptic modulation based on any external input. At the beginning, to support the high production costs associated to low manufacturing volumes, we will target consumers in the bionics and rehabilitation research space. This will also expand the use of SenseLoop to applications we have not yet considered. Then, strong of the experience gained in the first phase, we will move to telehealth. Our transdisciplinary team includes world-leading experts in biomechanics and neuroscience with a diverse background ranging from engineering to clinical work. And with the support of Bionics Queensland, we will be able to start our journey towards better rehabilitation for people with spinal cord injury.
Thank you, Claudio. We're just over time, but it sounds like you finished bang on, which is great. So, well, thank you, everybody, for your participation in our second tranche of presentations for bionic sensors. Some wonderful ideas, I'm sure you'll agree.